dear friends in Jesus Christ. We are on the Tuesday of the third week of Lent. Today we'll be reflecting on the readings from the book of Daniel chapter 3 verses 25, and the Gospel is from St. Matthew chapter 18 verses 21. Gracious and merciful God. St. Bernard of Clairvaux says, we are to love God for himself because of a twofold reason. Nothing is more reasonable, nothing is more profitable. As we look at the first reading of today, we find Azariah standing up in the midst of the fire and praying out loudly. Now, Azariah, friends, is one of the three men who were thrown into that furnace. His former name was Abednego. Now, remember, as he is praying, friends, the fire has not consumed him or his friends, and he knows that he is already victorious. But as he prays, my eyes, when I was reflecting on these scriptures, fell on few things which I want to share with you. He says, for your name's sake, O Lord, do not deliver us up forever or make void your covenant. Do not take away your mercy from us for the sake of Abraham, your beloved. Now, when I was reading the first two lines, what really occurred to me was, when you have already tasted success, your fire has already not burnt you. I would be probably elated, a bit proud, a sense of achievement, a sense of victory. But look at this man. He is calling upon the mercy of God. He goes on to say, with a contrite heart and a humble spirit, let us be received. So let our sacrifice be in your presence today, as we follow you unreservedly. For those who trust in you cannot be put to shame. And he says, we fear you, we pray to you, we follow you with our whole heart, but deal with us in your kindness and great mercy. What a fantastic disposition, friends, in the midst of success, to recall the kindness and mercy of God. How are we, friends, when we taste success? When we get that dream job that we want? When we get that house that we've been dreaming of? When our children do well in their exams? Whenever any success knocks at our door, how do we respond? Do we respond like Azariah, recalling the mercy, the kindness of God, and giving him the glory for the success? Something for us to think of this morning. As we look at the gospel of today, we see Peter approaching Jesus. Now, Peter is coming to the Lord and saying, Lord, if my brother sins against me, is it enough if I forgive him 7 times? Now, when I was reading through this, one thing that occurred to me, probably Peter was thinking, 7 times is a good benchmark. I'm not asking, once or twice. 7 is a pretty good benchmark. And Peter, is having, probably felt the Lord would have said, oh, Peter, well done, 7 times is good. But then the Lord raises the bar even higher and says 77 times, unconditional forgiveness. Poor Peter would have, probably, his expectations would have not been fulfilled, but there was a much to learn for him and for all of us from what the Lord replied, 70 times 7. And then beautifully, Jesus gives us a parable on how the kingdom of heaven is likened to a king who decided to settle accounts. And when that happens, we see 2 servants, okay? One servant who was owing a much larger sum, being completely forgiven by his master, squared off because he begs, he pleads, everything settled. Now he experiences forgiveness, squaring off, cancelling of debt, steps out and catches hold of a fellow servant who owes him a much smaller sum, but chooses not to forgive. Many times you and I are like this, receiving unconditional love of the Father, yet refusing to forgive, let go our friends, our neighbors, even our own family members sometimes. The Lord is speaking to us today, friends, to you and to me. Are we like that wicked servant, The master was so disturbed when he heard the report that this servant who received my mercy did not choose to pass it on. Are you and me like that? In the midst of success, how are we disposed? Do we truly recall the kindness, the goodness, the mercy of the Lord? May truly the Lord give us grace so that we act in mercy, we act with graciousness, and we act with love, always choosing to forgive 70 times 7. For we serve a gracious and merciful God. God bless you, friends.